What's up, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
Hope you're all doing well. We got a few bits of music news this week. The Mayhem Festival is returning this year for the first time in a while. You have a little bit more info on it than me, so walk me through it. What's going on with it?
So I went to Mayhem Festival, I believe in 2014, saw quite a bit of great music. I saw Cannibal Corpse, Suicide Silence, Mushroom Head, Body
Nice.
Count, Korn, Event Sevenfold, Asking Alexandria, and Trivium all headlined that same night. Asking Alexandria actually got booed off stage because it was right around the time that they changed their sound into something a little less heavy. Um, so
Probably
yeah,
would have happened regardless.
it was a lot of fun. There was a bunch of there was people starting fires on the lawn. You know how San Bernardino
Sure.
is. So this is, I guess, it's been purchased by somebody else, the namesake and the trademarks of Mayhem Festival, and I believe this is a Sumerian Records pretty exclusive lineup. I think there's a couple that aren't on Sumerian, but Bad Omens is actually headlining, which is, I
Yeah.
guess, good for them, especially being so that they're headlining above Parkway Drive, Architects, and Ginger. Um, and even the likes of August Burns Red, who are going to be playing Constellations in full. We've
That's
got
going to be so sick, man. We got Poppy playing,
Poppy's
Kitty.
playing. Yep. Kitty's playing. A couple of names that you really don't think of a lot anymore. At least We Came as Romans, which I actually had I actually saw We Came as Romans open for Parkway Drive a handful of years ago. Darkest Hour, which I also saw at Mayhem in 2014. Um,
Throwdown, first California show in 13 years.
Throw Down, bro.
Yep.
Wow, Vendetta. It
Unearth.
Unearth, and it dies today, man. It dies today. I'm very curious about how that show is gonna turn out. I think this is a pretty nifty core focused lineup. What are your thoughts on the
That-
lineup?
It says here that the It Dies Today performance will be their first West Coast show in more than 10 years. I think this lineup's great. I have no complaints about it, man. I I mean, I don't know like if fans of Parkway Drive are going to necessarily enjoy Bad Omens and vice versa, but I think that the lineup is pretty stacked regardless.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. Everybody going, please don't miss Ginger. And that's
Yeah,
that,
dude,
man.
we've covered Ginger a few times on the podcast, and
Oh
pretty much
yeah.
everything they put out rips. And the few live clips I've seen of them are just fucking great. So that should be good. Were there any other festival announcements this week?
I think that there was one, let me see here. If I remember correctly, it was Corona Capital Fest in Mexico
That's
announced.
right.
Headliners are Lana Del Rey, Foo Fighters, and Queens of the Stone Age.
And just announced today, Kendrick Lamar and Friends, June 19th at the Forum. That's gonna
Yikes.
be pretty interesting. Might be the first time Not Like Us has ever played live. That should be really, really good. I'm excited to see what happens at that show. The And Friends is very interesting there. DJ Mustard announced a new album coming this summer called Faith of a Mustard Seed. Uh, I I've never considered myself a diehard Mustard fan. Schoolboy Q tweeted that he has heard it and it is fire, and I trust Schoolboy Q, so I'm excited to hear that one. It feels like we've been getting peppered with a lot of album announcements lately. Jamie XX just announced a new album dropping September 20th called In Waves.
Yep.
Boston Manor dropping September 6th. Sabrina Carpenter dropping August 23rd. I wonder if this one was due or if they're just really trying to capitalize on the success of Espresso. We'll see. Finally have a confirmed date for the new Nero album, Into the Unknown, August 16th.
That's
Denzel
so far
Curry's
away
new
though.
project, King of the Mischievous South Volume 2. It's going to be, I think, a mostly collaborative project. That's July 19th. a John Summit full length album July 12th called Comfort and Chaos. We got a new Megan the Stallion album dropping June 28th called Megan. New Lucky Day album called Algorithm dropping, I think, in late June.
Oh, you're
Lowly
stoked.
Young dropping June 21st. You know I'm stoked. A Tove Lo and SG Lewis EP called Heat dropping, I think, next week. That should be really fun. We've got a ton to look forward to. It does not seem like the announcements are going to end there either.
2024 has been pretty good to us lately, and so far at least. And with all of these
Yeah,
album announcements, I mean, it seems like well over half of those are going to hit. You know what I mean?
same. Yeah, dude, I'm very excited for most of those. I'm excited to talk about the music on the playlist this week, man. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. First up, we got this new one from Disclosure called "She's Gone, Dance On." It's been a highly anticipated EP or ID in the EDM blogs for a few weeks now. What'd you think about it?
Light, fun, bouncy house track from Disclosure. Exactly what we expect and love out of them. It is a Disclosure track, sir.
It feels very adjacent to like Back on 74 by Jungle. Very much that same vibe. Good
For
stuff.
sure. For sure.
Got this new one from Fred again, Anderson Paak and Chica called Places to Be. It's my song of the week. I love everything about this one, man. What about you?
Yeah, man, it's Chica about to blow up with a feature from Fred. Good for her.
Good.
Track is good. Drum and bass is becoming like pretty mainstream in the UK. I would expect more of this style from Fred, along with
Yeah.
other artists such as John Summit and friends. So we're gonna see a lot of D&B coming, and I am stoked for it, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty stoked for it. This is a great track, man.
Last weekend in downtown San Francisco in front of the Civic Center, Fred again and Sonny Moore, aka Skrillex, put on a multiple hour just straight up rave there in the middle of San Francisco. The city was really promoting it as like a return to fun events in the city. I think some of the politicians were there making it kind of an odd event. But it did seem like a success overall. They played a lot of new music. Anderson Paak, of course, came out and did this song live with them. Seemed like a lot of fun. Did you catch any of that online?
I had no idea that that happened, and
Oh, really?
yeah, I'm happy for them. I've been off the interwebs this week, off the line a little bit this week, but I'm
Well, good for you.
hoping I'll have more time this week to catch up on shit.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, Fred again just pretty much tweeted that him and Sonny had so much new music that they needed to test out that they were just going to throw a rave in San Francisco. This was said rave. It was a big success.
Honestly, that's tight.
Yep. More of that, please.
Yeah, that's
All
tight.
right. We got this new one from Channel Trust called Cactus Water off of his upcoming album Head Rush. It's funky bass lines, smooth vocals, all the stuff we come to expect from Channel Trust. What'd you think about it?
You know, I did notice that he's moving further away from house.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Uh,
more of just a straight up funk direction, right?
yeah, a little bit more soulful. I love that he's able to make the music that he loves, man. I'm not sure if it's for me, but I'll wait for the album to determine that for the entire project. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I think that one is actually dropping next week, June 14th as well. So we'll know soon enough.
Yep.
Um, I think there will be some house if Berghain inspired any part of this, or hopefully some techno. That'd be great.
Right.
All right, got this new one from Foster the People called Lost in Space, another very danceable track. That's why I put it down here. What did you think about this one, man? Did you enjoy it?
I love that you put this in the dance section for all of those listeners unaware. John sorts this playlist, and I love that you put this in the dance section. I love the
It fit.
strings. I've liked a lot of Foster the People's music, man. So this isn't if this isn't like a one-off single, then I think we'll have a pretty interesting rollout for an album. I would love a more dancier album from them. This is a fun track.
I agree. And if you remember in 2021 or 2022, they did that single with Dead Mouse, Hyperlandia.
Oh
I think
fuck, they
that
did,
they're
huh?
I think that yeah, their style really lends itself well to a more straightforward dance direction like this. I enjoyed it. And I say that as somebody who wouldn't really consider themselves like a big Foster the People fan.
Right.
All right, got this new one from Rodriguez Jr. called Calypso. I already know you're just dying over this one.
Yeah, song of the week. You know I love this. The
Should
chord
have.
progression, bro, the piano melody, bringing it all
Yeah.
down to earth, the percussion just hitting just right. This dude fucking gets it, bro.
Yeah, man, you said it all. This one is really good. I love all that, the fucking pitch bending on top of
Oh
all that, man.
God,
Just really good stuff, as always, from Rodriguez Jr.
the dude just
Got
gets
an,
it.
yeah, he just gets it. Got a new one from Opio and Ashes called Underground. This one's just a banger. Nothing much else to say about it. What do you think about it?
You know, Opio has like a way with the specific bass that he uses that is just so engaging, man. We don't
Yeah,
cover like a lot of bass music on this playlist, but when we do, it's like this, and I love that. I think it's definitely something that I want to see Opio live. Opio plays with like a whole fucking band, bro. Like a
sounds awesome.
like a brass section, like a whole thing. So I'd love to. I think he does it at Red Rocks at least once every other year. So I'd love to go see that at one point in my life because this is great.
Yeah, I need to make the pilgrimage to Red Rocks as well. That sounds fucking awesome. Yeah, good shit. Got a new one from Ray Volpe called Song Request. I'm a big fan of this one, man. I really just love the whole call and response style and structure of it. I think it's really
Right.
fun. And I think that it's not just a fun concept, the execution is great. He pulled it off, man. What'd you think about it?
Play the one that goes ba da da. Turn the cheese to 11 and have so much fucking fun. I loved this, man. This was a blast. It was a blast.
Yeah, following him on Insta is a lot of fun, man. People have already picked this one up like fire, dude. It's insane just the amount of callback he already gets on this song live. It's a great one. I imagine it's going to be heavy in his set for some time to come.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he didn't.
Got this new one from Magdalena Bay, Death and Romance. I really, really liked this one, man. Really layered, a little bit more, has a little bit more depth than I think some of their last releases did, at least in terms of the song structures. Still has a lot of the classic Magdalena, like kind of keys that get pitched up to this chill inducing atmosphere and note. I don't think it's their catchiest song, but I don't think that's what they were going for with this one. What'd you think about it?
This one's catchy as hell, man. This bass line is wild. And like most of their music, I really enjoyed this, man. This was right up my alley. I like this. The artwork is wild. It's so cool.
Really good. Yeah, they haven't announced a new album quite yet. They are going on tour this fall. I think this is probably for that more than anything, but I wouldn't be surprised by an album or at least a mixtape announcement coming soon.
Nice. Yeah, I would love that. You know that.
I do know that. I would love that as well. Got a new one from Kalani called Next to You. I don't know what it is. I'm just not feeling this rollout so far, man. What about you?
You know, she's got to be one of my favorite like R&B vocalists right now. The instruments in this track though are really cool, but her voice does not fit with this style of beat and production. There was just something that felt so off about this every time it came on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Both of the songs I think that we've heard so far, After Hours and now this one, it's just like her voice over this style of production. I don't know if it's working for me exactly.
Right.
Got a new one from Normani called Candy Paint. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, at least like her vocal melodies on it. I did think the track needed some more low end. What about you?
This is good, better than the last one, I think, at least. But do you think this album is actually going to drop on time?
I do think it'll drop on time. I think it has to at this point. It is creeping up though. June 14th is very soon, and it doesn't feel like it's really going to drop that soon. Hopefully it does though.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
All right, man. This new one from Lucky Day called Soft is fucking incredible, man. I kind of undersold Hurricane as a single. I think that one is decent, but this is what I was looking for. He really lets the live instrumentation behind it not just breathe, but excel. His voice is incredible. He released a little live performance version of this one on YouTube that I think only made me appreciate it more, but the song's a banger. What'd you think about it?
Uh, I absolutely love this song, John. In fact, I'm very surprised this one wasn't your song of the week. I love the instrumentation on this. He's really on some Stevie Wonder shit right now with these last two releases, and I just cannot get enough. This bass line is wild. That breakdown is sick, and his voice just sounds pristine. Sign
Yeah,
me
he
up.
never misses a note ever. It's insane.
Right.
The guy just
Like
gets
he
it,
just
man.
doesn't miss, right?
No, he's a professional. All right, we got a really fun like throwback R&B jam here between Tink and Summer Walker called "Songs About You." Both of them have dabbled in this like late '90s, early 2000s style of R&B, and I thought they did a really good job on this one. What about you?
You know, man, this is a tad bit slow for me. I did enjoy a handful of
Fair.
moments on it though.
That's fair, man. I don't know if I'll be coming back to it, but I thought it was decent.
Yeah.
Got this. It's the Cardi B remix of that track "Wannabe" by Glorilla and Megan The Stallion, which I don't think we actually covered on the podcast, but is a good song and worth checking out if you haven't heard it. It's a fine remix. Cardi talks her shit. She uses it to kind of use it as a mini diss track, I guess. I don't think I like it more than the original. But what did you think about this one?
I think all three of them killed it, bro. I actually the beat goes fucking hard. Cardi's in
The
there
beat's
talking
great.
shit. Like they're all doing their thing. I really liked it, man. I think it was a little corny, but a lot of music is corny that I like, you know?
White boy wasted Channing Tatum.
Exactly, bro. Like, come on. It's
Great hook.
great bars.
All right, we got this new one from Eminem called Houdini. Why'd you throw this on, Brandon? Please tell me.
I mean, that's a question, but I I like Eminem. This may come as a surprise to people, but as a white rap fan, I enjoy Eminem, and I think that I had no idea we were gonna get a Steve Miller Band interpolation. I liked it, bro. I think a lot of people are hating on it. I think it's incredibly corny. I think a lot of his music is incredibly corny, and I am actually really excited to watch him roll this album out and have it be the corniest thing he's ever done, and also have me enjoy it.
What's your take on dyeing your beard in your 40s? Like, do you think just let it get gray, or do you think just who cares? That's like it's a self-confidence thing.
Brother, I am 32 years old as we currently are talking, and my beard's
Uh-huh.
already graying. So
And do you want
I'm
to
not,
dye it?
not ever, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I,
like, just let it get gray, man. Like, who
right.
cares?
It might even look a little bit more distinguished. What'd you think about the
Yeah.
song though?
I hated it.
Are
No,
you
I don't like the fucking weird R. Kelly bar. I don't like the anti Megan the Stallion bar. I have not watched the music video for it, but I've seen thumbnails of him in like the fucking Robin outfit. I very much get what he's trying to do. I no thank you, sir. On to the next door to sell your wares. I'm good.
I think the idea behind this album, and this is just me generally guessing, is that he's gonna kill Slim Shady and it'll be the last thing that he puts out, or at least theoretically. Um,
Please.
yeah, if he said please. Um, and I would love to see him kill Slim Shady for once and for all, and have that kind of concept die. But I look, man, I'm a fan of the Slim Shady LP. I'm a fan of the Marshall Mathers LP. I'm a fan of the Eminem Show. There's a handful of albums after that that I'm not a fan of, but there's also a few that I really like. I think that the dude is a fantastic rapper, and I think that this song was corny as hell. I don't think that those two things necessarily cancel each other out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's fair. I Has he actually announced a new album or is it just the song?
I think it's an album. I don't think.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
I
wrong. And
haven't
now
seen
I'm
anything yet, but you're probably right. I have not dug it very far in, as you could imagine.
give into it, John.
Maybe. All right, man. We got this new one from Rest Nowhere Forever. What'd you think about this one?
I what whiplash going from Eminem to Rest, but
Seriously.
I love this band so much, dude. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his accent, maybe it's his song structures, maybe it's the sultry acoustic guitar shit that they do. Their music just speaks to me, so I'm gonna listen to it every time. I think you've been in and or out on their music, and I'm curious to know what you think, but I really liked it, man.
I liked it. I thought this one was good. I thought the last minute especially was very good. That's kind of where I stand with this one.
Fair.
Got this new one from Lola Young called Messy. Love it. Finally have a date for her new album. It's dropping June 21st. It is called This Wasn't Meant for You Anyway. I think we've reviewed like 5 or 6 songs from her this year, and I've really liked 4 of them. So I'm really looking forward to that one. What are you thinking about after this, hearing this new one from her?
This song is amazing, John. I
Yeah.
really liked every single listen to this one this week. Her raspy, accented voice is so good over these instruments. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, dude, this album's gonna be one for the books for sure. I'm very stoked on it.
Yep.
All right, we got a new one from Destroy, Rebuild Until God Shows, aka Drugs. It's called Hunger Pangs. This just sounds like prime Craig Owens again, man. I really, really fucking dug this one all week. Could not stop listening to it. What about you?
Is Craig's voice getting better with like
It
every
might be.
release, man? Dude has some
Might be.
fucking pipes. Leaning into some metalcore riffage on this one, and
Yeah.
God, I love it, dude. This is good stuff from them as always. There's like a moment on this where I could have sworn I was listening to the Mars Volta. I remember being like, "When did I put At the Drive-In on?" Like this was real good, man. I do we have a new album announcement from them?
I haven't seen one yet, but I think it's coming.
I mean, shit. Let's go. Thank you, Craig and band.
Got a new one from A Day to Remember called Feedback. It sounds like current A Day to Remember, so thumbs down for me, man. Did you like this one?
Oh man, this band is so interesting, dude. I never love their music aside from Homesick. Homesick's a classic,
Homesick fucking
but
rocks.
I gotta say, man, I never like actually dislike it. Like it's just kind of take it or leave it for me, and that's exactly where I am with this track. I it came on and it went, and then I actually remember thinking to myself as the next song played, "Wait a second, who was that?" And like, I mean, I've been listening to A Day to Remember for like decades. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
them live. I should be able to pick it up, but it's so just generic, run of the mill that like it's hard to. I was like, oh shit, that's the new Day to Remember song.
Yeah, I'm Homesick is sacred scene text, man. That is a top 20
Sacred
essential scene
scene
album,
texts.
but it this is not it. This one just is not it for me, man. They don't sound incapable of still making bangers though. This one just was not that.
Yeah. I will say that when I saw them in 2019, they were very good. I know it's been 5 years, but
I
they were very good when I saw them in 2019.
I am I'm lucky to enough to have seen them during the pre-homesick era actually, the
Uh
for
huh.
those who have heart era, and that was great times, man, at the boardwalk in Orangevale in like 2006 or some shit.
Same.
uh Great times, man. They were fucking great live then. I've not seen them since. I've heard mixed things, but I'm glad to know that they still have it somewhat. His Scream live has always been really, really good.
Yeah, it was great. They actually slowed it down for a second. He took out an acoustic guitar
Oh
and
no shit.
yeah, Tool was playing later that night and he was like he was like, "Hey guy, it was at Aftershock Festival." He goes, "Who's excited for Tool?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And then he starts playing Schism on the acoustic guitar and the crowd's reaction was either play it or don't do that, bro.
Yeah. Mine would have been don't do that if I'm at an ADTR show. Please no.
This is not for you to play, man.
I'm here to disrespect my surroundings, sir. Please and thank you.
Straight up.
All right, man. We got one more single this week to talk about. It's from Soft Play. It's called Mirror Muscles. So this group used to be called Slaves. They're from the UK. You might have heard of them. I think they've been around for a while under that name. They
That's why they
recently
sound so
decided to
familiar.
change their name. My wife found this one. She's kind of a fan of theirs. They released a few new songs. They released one called Punk's Dead that kind of deals with the backlash that they got to changing their name because of PC reasons. And it is just as good as this, but I needed you to fucking hear this, dude. It is so good. It is so funny. It is so ridiculous, but it's also just a great fucking song. So, what'd you think of it?
My notes are absolutely ridiculous. Loved it.
Dude, it is Love Lies Bleeding, the song. It is steroids. It is fucking incredible, man.
Yeah, this was
Love it.
great, man. This was really great.
Yeah, I think you'd like their other new shit too. It's very heavy, very riffy like this.
Yeah,
Good shit though.
I liked their stuff as slaves, so I'm curious. I knew I had seen on the internet that they had changed their name, but I didn't know to what. So
Well, here you go. Soft Play is the name, and another name change I noticed recently when I searched for Easy Life and nothing came up because EasyJet had sued them like last year for the name, and even though that their use
wow,
of it predates it, they do not have the money to fight the case. Have said they're going to be changing it. I think they're going just by Hard Life now, which is pretty funny. So good for them.
love that for
Uh,
them.
yeah, pretty great. All right, we got a few EPs to talk about this week, so let's get into those. This first one is a little two-pack by Boys Noise, Sandy, and I think it's Sandy and Lovely.
Lovely.
Both of these are just kind of minimal techno bangers. Not what we usually get from Boys Noise on the podcast, but I'm happy to get these. What about you?
Yeah, I would go so far as to call this hard techno. It's got that it's got
Yeah.
those rave stabs and
Yep.
yeah, man, it's a hard techno. It's so hot right now. Boys Noise putting his spin on it though is something I didn't know that I needed, but now that I've heard it, I need much more of it.
Same, dude. I don't know really what inspired these. He's got a bunch of live dates coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to get more techno from him while he's just on the road kind of creating.
I would love that for us, for real.
Right, talk to me about this new one from Packard called Underwater.
Oh, speaking of techno, right?
Yes.
All right. So I Amsterdam-based collective label Donker has released their first EP. This is the very first release on this label by an artist Packard. I chose this for our obligatory techno EP this week, not only because it's great, because I just love this style. He's from Argentina. I'm really digging the South American techno producers as of late. This style is just groovy as hell. They keep the bleepy bloopies to a minimum, but when they're thrown in, they really add to it. I really liked this EP, man. Every time it came on, I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, dude, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I feel like right after the Boys Noise one, it maybe wasn't like the most exciting techno one, but
I
it's
know.
a very fucking solid listen all the way through. And yeah, a really great entry for our obligatory techno EP of the week.
Right.
Got this new one from Direct Threat called Endless Siege. Just perfect music to crowd kill to. Great EP all around, man. I really liked this one. What about you?
Hardcore band Direct Threat has released this EP on Iron Lung Records, who has just consistently put out massive amounts of really good hardcore punk, man. 6 songs, 9 minutes, pure rage. The entire thing is fucking great.
Yeah, dude, I agree, man. We had two kind of really fun EPs to wrap it up this week, that Direct That Run and then this Dead Wrong one. I liked all the tracks on this one as well, dude. This track just or this group just fucking gets it, dude. What'd you think about it?
I have no clue how I found this band, John, but it was probably Reddit. But I think they have such a good sound, dude. For being self-released, this sounds incredible. Mixed and mastered extremely well. This reminds me a lot of the early 2000s drive-through days, like Self Against City, The Audition.
Yes.
Really, really good stuff, Dead Wrong. This was great.
God damn it, I missed the drive-through records days, man.
I know.
All right. Are you ready to talk about the albums this week?
I'm dying to.
Okay, man. First up, we got this new one from the Marías called Submarine. When you and I first listened to Cinema together back in 2021, it cemented us as fans of them forever. We didn't know that following that album, personal relationships within the group would change, and that those personal relationships that we didn't even know about to begin with might have an effect on whether or not they ever made music again. When that little tidbit got out in their like pre-album video diaries, I realized how lucky we were to be getting this album at all. The first single we got, Run Your Mouth, had some jabs in it, but felt like classic pop rock Marias. And as the singles kept rolling through, the layers of the onion just kept getting peeled back more and more. The rollout got a little bit moodier and a little bit more melancholy, all things I was very excited about as a Marias fan. And the duality of the rollout, I think, carried over and painted a picture of the album we got. Hamptons has more of those psychedelic soul vibes that Run Your Mouth had. We get some more moody Latin pop with Ayo No Puedo, like we got on Leos de Ti. And I think we even get some more of the like layered mid-tempo indie stuff on Love You Anyway, similar to the way we got it on No One Noticed. It's just all there and more as a Maria's fan on here. And beyond the music, they're just aesthetic geniuses, dude. The album artwork for this one already feels iconic to me. The vinyl I got showed up and is stunning in person. This release is an easy 9 to 10 for me, dude. My standout is Run Your Mouth, but of the new songs we got, I really, really like Blur and Love You Anyway. There's not a miss on here though, man. What'd you think about it?
Dream pop is both usually is and like isn't my thing simultaneously. Like it's got to be done in a very specific way for me to connect with it. And the Marias hit that spot over and over and over again on this album. The velvety intro of Ride and how it bleeds into the Hamptons. Maria's voice is just perfect for the style of music they play, and it's pretty much perfectly accentuated throughout. Echo has this like bouncy, kind of soulful production. We talked about Run Your Mouth when it dropped as a single, but it fits like so well here on the album, man. Like, such an incredible song. The lyrics, the
Beautiful.
production, the instrumentation, the bass line, the incredible vocals all come together in such a beautiful way. Real life is sultry, and it continues on with the theme of this album, which, and I'm just guessing here, the concept of this album is writing bass lines specifically for Brandon. Lejos de Ti is a gorgeous track, dude. It translates
Beautiful.
to far from you, and the lyrical content is great, but when performed in Spanish, god, it's so romantic, dude. Vicious sensitive robot though is fucking wild. In the headphones, it is psychedelic, it is heavy. Even this whole fucking thing is just gorgeous, John. I loved Cinema. I think this one's better. Easy. It's between a 9 and a 10. It'll probably graduate to a 10. Lejos de Ti or Vicious Sensitive Robot, but every track is great. Throw a dart at this album, you'll find something you like if you like anything about the Marias.
Did you get the signed vinyl as well?
I did, signed and clear. It sounds great.
Okay, so let me ask you a little nitpick question. Was the sticker tag over Maria's autograph for you too?
I didn't even look, bro. I just took that shit off. You know,
Okay.
it's funny. Some people save those stickers. I don't. I think that those stickers
I
are
don't save the
garbage.
stickers. I just slit the plastic typically down the side of it. But I like that they fucking actually signed the front of the vinyl
And
because
not
a
like
lot
the
of the signed
plastic
vinyl or just
or
the
the
little
inside.
cards that
Yeah.
go inside, the little insert cards, which for those who don't know, the reason they do that is because it's way easier to send an artist, especially that isn't near a plant, a huge stack of those cards to sign and send back
Right.
versus sending them a bunch of vinyl or having them come by the plant and do it.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I really like the extra effort from the Marias on that one. I'm so kind of bummed that they didn't do like a signed version of the water exterior version, but I don't know.
Mhm.
I like that they gave us the choice. I'm happy with my choice too.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous vinyl. I don't save the plastic on the my records all raw dog each other in the cabinet. So
Of course they do, as they should. All right, man. We got this new one from Bad Omens called Concrete Jungle. Once I got past the confusing quote unquote original soundtrack tag on this project, I thought it was pretty good, if not a bit uneven. We're only talking about the first section of this release because the other two sections are just remixes and live versions of stuff that they've previously released. It's more substantial than a typical deluxe edition, but it's still just a companion piece to their last album, as far as I'm concerned. I like it when artists put a button on an era like this, though. It feels like a definitive end before they start to work on whatever that next era is.
Right.
There's a little bit of everything we've kind of come to know Bad Omens for on here that should hold their fans over until they're ready to launch whatever that is. I think the obvious standout is Violence Against Nature with Poppy. It's been in my rotation since it dropped back in January and is not leaving anytime soon. Another track I liked, even though it is much softer, was Even. It's not metal whatsoever, but I think it's really good. The industrial track with Health is pretty good as well. And that last track with Iris on it, I thought was a really solid closer to this one. We just heard her voice a few times on that last See You Space Cowboy album,
Yep.
and I thought she sounded really good on this one too. I don't know if we're scoring this one or not since it's just kind of a companion piece, but if we are, it's in the like 6 to 7 range. My standout is Violence Against Nature. What'd you think about this one?
Yeah, this is pretty good. Some electronic elements injected into the octane radio core sound of Bad Omens. Bad Omens is just fucking huge right now. Like we talked about at the top of the episode, they're headlining Mayhem Fest. Um, the things I like about this album, though, John, are kind of few and far between. Obviously, voice violence against nature is one of those things that I really like. Poppy has like the unique ability to elevate a track when she features on it, and Poppy being the heaviest part of this album is kind of funny to me, I guess.
Yeah.
Really good stuff on that one. The rapping on terms and conditions is simultaneously something that I think could be utilized more in heavier music, but definitely not done correctly on this one. There's just so much going into this music, but for like some reason it still makes me sleepy. Like though I got the yawns when I was listening to this album, man. I just can't describe it. It's not like it's low energy, right? There's plenty of riffs and like interesting concepts for songs, but it just fucking gives me the yawns, man. There are some pretty interesting tracks on the second half, though, like Digital Footprint, which is simply an electronic track and it actually borders on techno a little bit. Anything More Than Human is a kind of pretty run of the mill metalcore with some synths, but it is good. I am obviously not the largest fan of Bad Omens, but I did enjoy the majority of these tracks more than I disliked tracks. So it's a 7. I'm sorry, it's a 6 for me. If I can't choose Violence Against Nature because we've already heard it, it was already on the album, blah blah blah. It'll probably actually be Digital Footprint. I actually really liked that weird
Yeah.
electronic moment on the album. You know?
Yeah. Not what I was expecting, but not bad, you know?
Right, right.
All right, let's talk about this new one from ARTMS called Dall. Right off the bat, I really appreciate the scope of this album. So many K-pop releases that we cover are just singles or mini albums, which is probably because they're more profitable right now. But you and I come from an era of full-length albums, and outside of a few artists in the genre, it's uncommon to get a full length like this from a K-pop group. There's been other cases, of course. The Seraphim dropped an album last year, but my point stands. It'd be easy for the album cuts on this one to feel a step below the carefully rolled out singles, but I think that just as much care went into the bones of this album, and it really shows when you listen to it front to back. That first 3 song run, not URL, but Virtual Angel, Sparkle, and The Hitchhiker's Guide, are all new songs, but I think they could all easily be singles too. It shows kind of the ambition behind making an album of this size and their inability to compromise on the overall quality of music respective to the genre that they're in.
Right.
That's all I could really want with a project like this, I guess. There's tracks I don't like as much as others, of course, but the floor on it is so high that I think it's kind of enjoyable no matter what if you're into this. And I am. So I'm gonna give it a solid 7. My standout is Candy Crush. That is like crack. That song is so fucking addictive. But there's a few bangers on here. The closer Birth is really good as well. What'd you think about this one, man? I've been dying to get your thoughts on it all week.
Man, I'm glad that I'm starting to like more and more styles of K-pop. This is a style of K-pop that I really do enjoy. It has that kind of like very bubblegum late 80s synth pop sound. Some
Mhm.
of it sounds like video game music or whatever, but I actually really enjoy that. Some of it's pretty cheesy pop tracks that I feel like were designed for TikTok. But other than that, I think this is a pretty big solid effort, man. As is tradition with this, we have immaculate production, right? All of the voices sound great. All of the music sounds and is mixed very well, as close to perfect as one can really expect. I think there's like a handful of moments that didn't work for me, but overall, man, I enjoyed my time with this one. I probably didn't give this one as many listens as I probably could. I think I only listened to it like maybe 2.5 times, but on those 2.5 times, it's a 7 for me. I actually really like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That was a
Yeah,
that
that
was
one.
the song I kept going back to, and I even when I wasn't listening to the album, like every once in a while, I would want something light and poppy, and I would be like, you know what, that's it for this week.
Yeah, that song is probably my favorite of the newer ones we got as well. I'm glad you
Yeah,
like this album, man.
I did. It was fun.
It's a little bit different, and they are not one of the bigger ones. They have like 400,000 monthly listeners right now. Songs like Birth the Closer are not typical like K-pop structures. They're doing it a little bit differently. I think that shows by them doing a full-length album at all. And I like them doing that without the like giant machine behind them. There's still a machine behind them, but not quite as big of one as you imagine.
Got it.
Um,
Got it.
Good shit. All right, man. Let's talk about this new one from Bad Nerves called Still Nervous. How are you feeling about it?
I gotta say, John, I love that my wife loves punk rock, and I love it because we're tuned into two completely different worlds, right? I listen to a lot of the hardcore stuff, but my wife listens to a lot of stuff like this, and she actually introduced me to this band, and I'm really glad that she did. We listened to quite a bit of their last year. We were listening to them a little bit every once in a while. Their album from 2020, I think it's a self-titled album. uh, I think the band has actually even improved since then, man. They have this sense of pop, but there's not a lot of it here, besides like obviously the obvious hookiness and catchy choruses. But other than that, man, this is a straight up punk rock record. It's got great riffs, fantastic drumming, quick tempos, right? We have tracks like Antidote that are just infectious than other tracks like USA that are just nonstop bangers. Most of these tracks, though, John, are earworms. I listened to this pretty much every morning upon waking up this week because of how high energy it was without being, crushing. And I'd
Hmm.
find myself humming random tracks from the album throughout the day, man. Just a really good 2020s punk rock album. I listened to a lot of hardcore, and this really hit the spot when I wanted something punk, but not pop punk and not super heavy. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly. Yep.
7 out of 10. Jimmy the Punk or Antidote are my standouts.
Yeah, dude, you said it, man. It's really, really good. Shout out your wife for kind of finding this one. I don't know if we'd really ever talked about this group before, but I like it, dude. They sound like listening to the Strokes at like 1.5 speed. The whole album is just really fun, super fuzzy. There's a great energy throughout it. I love all the speedy drum fills sprinkled in. I don't really have a lot of specific notes on this one, man. It's just a really good album. Definitely in the 6 to 7 range for me. Standouts are the same ones you mentioned. I really liked Antidote and Jimmy the Punk, but Don't Stop just kicks this album off perfectly. So I'm going to give that one my standout personally.
Nice. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Plus, man. All right. This new one from Super American, Gangster of Love. Are you a fan of it?
Yes, actually.
Give me your thoughts on it, please.
Alrighty. So, you know that moment on Enema of the State when you've just been listening to a song called Dysentery Gary, and then the super ultra serious Adam song comes on? Well, Blink in 1999 pretty much just perfected how to write an album that has so much silly and inane lyrical concepts that actually is able to incorporate some actually like serious songs as well. I think that Super American is really trying that concept out here. They ride that line quite a bit with some serious songs like Drowning and some ultimately silly songs like Hopefully Pitchfork Doesn't Hear This. Besides the thematics of the whole thing, lining up with what I love about pop punk, there are some real fucking bangers on this thing. Ugly Crying with My Dog is a fantastic down tempo track that has so much passion. It's got some real harmonies, gang vocals, and like actually really good lyrical content. Like I really wasn't expecting that after the first couple of singles that we got. Mental Karate has this like infectious riff and just an incredible hook, dude. Man, this is what pop punk has been since the 90s. And Super American is, in my opinion, doing it pretty well. Fun, short, silly, some seriousness, massive band chemistry, who clearly knows how to write a song and put it down. After the singles we got, I was expecting this to kind of just be like a super inane little album, but I actually ended up liking it a lot more than I anticipated myself enjoying it. It's somewhere between a 7 and an 8. Standout is Ugly Crying with My Dog. What'd you think about this one?
Oh man, I agree with a lot about what you said, but I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as you. I just still really don't know how I feel about this style of like uber pop punk that bands like this and Bill Murray have been using to different degrees of success lately. I feel like a lot of my enjoyment of this album will come down to time and place, not just like time of day, but time in your life. If I heard this album in my 20s or in my teens, I'd just crank it and have a good time. But in my 30s, I find the lyrics to be kind of eye roll inducing at times, even though I know that that's the least punk thing I could ever fucking do. The songs we talked about a few weeks ago are probably the tracks I enjoyed the most. I think that that was Manager Haircut, and hopefully Pitchfork doesn't hear this. They
Correct.
have an undeniable ability when it comes to writing a catchy hook. It just doesn't always land for me stylistically. I'm in the middle on this album still. I'm going to give it a 5 for now. My standout is hopefully Pitchfork doesn't hear this.
Good song.
Yeah, really good one. All right, man. Talk to me about this new album from Beaten to Death called Sunrise Over Rigor Mortis.
God, that's a good band name. Look, man, I had never even thought about melodic grindcore like could even exist. Like it's like oxymoronic, right? But this band fucking did it. I heard
Yep.
about this band through a publication that many metalheads should know, Angry Metal Guy, released on Maskina Records, who I had never heard of until this week. We get this band's Beaten to Death's Sunrise Over Rigor Mortis. I was super unsure of what to expect, but I am so glad that I heard this, John. It is heavy as fuck. A couple of like really clean vocal breaks, some absolutely bonkers bass lines, and slick yet entirely weird melodies. This is high art, man, especially for a genre like grindcore, with elements of surf rock, psychedelia, grind, and even like a couple of ambient moments, albeit those are
Hmm.
very, very, very short lived. This was such a just a blast to listen to this week. I looked forward to it every single time it came on, and it's sitting at just over 2 minutes a song, 9 tracks, 18 minutes. This is refreshing as hell, man, and most definitely something that intrigued me. The musicality, the unrelenting heaviness, and the actual beautiful moments on this grindcore album are something I'm going to be listening to and thinking about probably for the rest of the year. It's somewhere between an 8 and a 9, bro. I massively enjoyed this project. Minus Ook minus Blur minus Ook minus is probably going to be my standout. I am dying to know what you thought about this one, man.
No, hard agree with everything you said, dude. This is
Amazing.
melodic grindcore done right. It is silly, fun, ridiculous, heavy as fuck when it needs to be. It's 20 minutes of just chaos, blast beats, wheel kick inducing riffs. It's just sure to please most fans of heavy music, and the surprise left turn in there is always welcome. The album artwork for this release is just beautiful. Like, what
Awesome.
more could you want from an album like this, dude? It's an easy 7 for me. My standout is the whole album. It's all good. It's all the good album.
Oh my god. Yeah, man.
Yeah, really good stuff, man. Thanks for adding that one.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's cap the albums off this week with this new one from Look to Windward called The Last Scattering Surface. You've been looking forward to this one. What'd you think of it?
I have, man. So as you and probably all of our listeners know by now, this style of kind of like heavy prog rock is something that I've been leaning into quite frequently lately. This project is actually going to eventuate into an audio visual project, and Andrew, who fronts this band, will be releasing a Blu-ray apparently to accompany this album. I'll
Sick.
probably be checking that out at some point, as I actually ended up enjoying the music. I'll throw the Kickstarter for that into for that project into the show notes. This is a very interesting collection of music because it's got plenty of prog noodling, as prog bands tend to do, but it's got this like overarching pop sensibility that they really allow to breathe and take shape throughout the album. There's a couple of things I love about this album. The way the guitars are tuned is incredible. The undeniable passion in both the instrumentation and the vocals. This is really apparent on tracks like River to Mercury or When You Go Away. This dude is just fucking singing his heart out. And even at times when the vocals may not be entirely up my alley, like on the track Why Ask, I still feel the passion in them. The guest vocals from Emily Rice on these tracks is done very well. She has a killer voice. The
Yep.
track Thea Arrived One Fateful Day is fucking gorgeous, and her vocals add a layer to them that really elevate this track for me from the rest of the album. The harmonies and how the track kind of like builds into those heavier riffs with the polyrhythmic drums is something really special, man. That's some porcupine tree shit, and it's done very well. I do wish that I would have seen some moments where the tracks got a little more aggressive, and you know how much of a fan I am of heavy, and I think that this record could have benefited from a heavier soundscape every once in a while.
Yeah.
Also, as a fan of closers, I really liked the crescendo on the Condition as everything kind of winds down with all the electronic elements. But then New Love kind of comes on after that for a couple of minutes. I actually switched them on a few of my listens, and it actually worked really well like that. Kind of New Love being the intro instead of the closer,
Interesting.
and the intro to
Yeah.
the closer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that being said, man, there's some really killer music on this LP. I hope that Andrew and everyone else involved in this keeps making music, as it was not only a fun listen while passively listening, but engaging while actively listening. For me, it's sitting around a 7. Thea Arrived One Fateful Day is a absolutely incredible song. So that's going to be my standout.
Okay. Beautiful review, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude, we talked about a few of the singles from them, and you seemed really excited about where they were going. After hearing the album, I can see why. It's some of the most Brandon core music I've ever heard, man. It's grandiose prog rock from New Zealand. It's lyrically weighted, musically diverse, soaring guitars and vocals left and right, some experimentation in there as well. It's all really well made. It's an absolute crime that this project only has 173 monthly listeners as of now. The talent is obvious from the moment you hit play on this album until the end. It's not always my personal favorite style of rock, but I think it's done really well all the way through. It's an easy 6 to 7 for me. My standout is Why Ask. I'm not sure the other vocalist name. You said it once in your review, but her voice is just great in contrast to his.
I believe
So
it's Emily Rice.
all around good project though, man. Really enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, bro. This was a good listen. It really
It
was.
was. All right, that does it for us this week. We will be off next week. I'll be on vacation, but we will still be updating the playlist with what we will be covering when we return. It's going to be a lot. We got a new one from Charlie XCX dropping this week. I'm really excited for that. New album from K Tronada, No Worries, aka Anderson Pack and Knowledge. Peggy Gao, Thames. We got a lot to look forward to. We will see you all when we get back. Peace.
Peace.